Hello, my dear golden friends. We often believe that if something goes into the refrigerator, it automatically becomes safer, fresher, and better for us. But today I want to gently challenge that idea. Some foods actually change for the worse in the cold. Their flavors fade, their textures suffer, and in some cases, the delicate processes that create their wonderful aromas and helpful compounds slow down or stop. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which common foods should stay out of the fridge and how to store them so they taste better and support your health. If you're hoping to stay energetic and strong well into your 80s and 90s, small choices add up, especially the way we store food. I'll guide you through 4 common items people often refrigerate the wrong way: tomatoes, honey, potatoes, and garlic. I'll also share a short list of other foods that prefer room temperature and a few senior smart habits that make the kitchen safer and easier to manage. Let's begin. First, a quick truth about refrigerators. They are a wonderful invention. They slow bacterial growth and keep many foods safe for longer. But a fridge is not a magic box for everything. Some foods are sensitive to cold and moisture. When chilled, they lose fragrance, sweetness, and even the satisfying texture that tells us this is delicious. Our goal is not to fear the fridge, but to use it wisely. Let's start with tomatoes. Tomatoes are warm weather fruits. In nature, they develop their sweetness and aroma in gentle warmth, not in the chill. When a tomato is stored in cold temperatures, below roughly 55 degrees Fahrenheit or about 13 degrees Celsius, it goes through what scientists call chilling stress. That stress upsets the very pathways that build flavor and fragrance. The result is a tomato that still looks red and pretty, but tastes dull and smells weak. If you have ever sliced a beautiful tomato from the refrigerator and wondered why it had the flavor of a red sponge, cold temperatures can disturb the structure of the tomato's cells. Tiny ice-like crystals form and break the cell walls, leading to a mealy or watery bite. The tomato may feel mushy and strangely grainy, as if the juices have separated from the flesh. And here's the disappointing part. Even after you bring that tomato back to room temperature, the flavor rarely returns to what it could have been. The pathways that make those lovely floral and grassy aromas have already been quieted. So how do we treat tomatoes kindly? Keep them at room temperature, on a counter or a shelf, out of direct sunlight. Place them stem side down to reduce moisture loss through the scar at the top. Give them air, no sealed plastic bags. Keep them away from fruits that pump out ripening gas, like bananas and apples, because that can race them past their prime. And if you truly have too many tomatoes, cook them into a simple sauce and freeze the sauce in small portions. There is a bonus here. The star antioxidant in tomatoes, lycopene, can become more available to your body after cooking, especially with a little olive oil. So the freezer becomes your friend, not for raw tomatoes, but for sauce you have lovingly simmered. Now let's talk about honey. Honey is a marvel of nature, thick, golden, and naturally well preserved. It is low in water and gently acidic, qualities that make it unfriendly to most microbes. That is why properly sealed honey can last a very long time at room temperature. But when you put honey in the refrigerator, something frustrating happens. It crystallizes quickly. The smooth pore turns grainy and thick. The color becomes cloudy. Many people think their honey has spoiled and they throw it away. In most cases, it has not spoiled at all. It has simply formed crystals in the cold. The refrigerator also brings moisture swings. When you open and close the door, condensation can form. If water drips into your honey jar, the water content can rise. Too much water can encourage fermentation, and that can change the flavor and reduce the qualities we love about honey. So here is the simple way to treat honey kindly. Keep it in a dark, dry cupboard at room temperature. Close the lid firmly. Potatoes can be misunderstood when it comes to storage. Many people put them in the refrigerator, thinking the cold will keep them fresh longer. What happens instead is a process called cold-induced sweetening. In the fridge, potato starch turns into simple sugars. You may notice a slightly sweet taste in a raw potato that has been chilled. That extra sugar can lead to more intense browning when potatoes are fried or roasted at high heat. And with that deeper browning, a compound called acrylamide can form, something health authorities suggest we keep as low as reasonably possible in our diets, especially from heavily browned, starchy foods. So the refrigerator is not the best place for raw potatoes. A better home is a cool, dark, well-ventilated spot. Think of a paper bag or a breathable bin in a pantry or cabinet that does not get warm. The ideal temperature is cool but not cold, roughly the low to upper 50s Fahrenheit or 12 to 15 degrees Celsius. Keep potatoes away from light to prevent greening. When potatoes turn green, it signals the presence of natural compounds that can taste bitter and may be irritating. If a small patch has turned green, cut it away generously. If the potato is very green or tastes unusually bitter, it is best to discard it. There is one more relationship to remember. Keep potatoes and onions apart. When stored together, the gases and moisture they release can encourage each other to spoil more quickly. Give them their own space, and both will last longer. If you accidentally kept potatoes in the fridge, avoid high-heat frying. Use gentler, moist methods, soups, stews, and gentle braises, and you can still enjoy them without pushing the browning too far. Now garlic. Garlic thrives in dry, cool room conditions with airflow. Refrigerators tend to be humid. In that humidity, whole bulbs can sprout sooner, and pre-peeled cloves can become slimy or moldy. Sprouted garlic tastes sharper and a little bitter, and some people find it harder to digest. Another subtle issue: the special aroma and many of the benefits we associate with garlic depend on a natural enzyme step that happens after you crunch or chop it. Keep whole bulbs of garlic at room temperature, in a basket or a mesh bag, away from direct sun. Do not seal them in plastic. Once a bulb is broken and you have loose cloves, try to use them within a few weeks. If you occasionally buy pre-peeled garlic for convenience, keep it refrigerated, but finish it within about a week. For longer storage and easy cooking, mince garlic and freeze it in small portions. And here is a gentle chef's trick. After you chop or crush garlic, wait about 10 minutes before cooking it. During this quiet pause, the enzymes have time to create more of the compounds that give garlic its characteristic fragrance and many of its helpful properties. Then cook it briefly, and you preserve more of what you want. Before we recap, let's touch on a few other foods that are happier outside the fridge. Whole onions prefer a cool, dark, ventilated place, separate from potatoes. Bananas and unripe avocados are sensitive to cold. Let them ripen on the counter and only chill the fruit after it is cut or fully ripe, and you want to pause the process for a short while. Fresh basil is delicate. Cold can bruise it and turn it black. Bread goes stale faster in the refrigerator because the cold encourages the starches to reorganize. It is better at room temperature for a couple of days, or in the freezer for longer storage. Whole melons can stay on the counter until you cut them. Once cut, cover and refrigerate them. Coffee beans are best in an airtight container in a cool cupboard. The fridge's moisture is unhelpful. Olive oil prefers a dark cupboard at room temperature. A refrigerator may make it cloudy and thick. None of these preferences are about perfection. They are about small, wise choices that add up to better flavor and less waste. Now, a few senior smart habits that make everyday cooking easier. Label and rotate your foods. A strip of tape with a date can prevent guesswork. Cook once and rest twice by making small batches of tomato sauce or soup and freezing them in single meal portions. Choose containers that breathe for produce that prefers airflow. Protect light-sensitive items like potatoes and onions by giving them darkness. Manage moisture.